When there are red flags in your relationship, but you're pretending to be colorblind. In this video, I'll be diving into 4 red flags to look out for in your relationship. Hi, I'm Mario Che, and I've been a relationship repair expert for over a decade. I help people save their marriages and create lifelong loves. Red flag number 1. If your partner wants to spend more time with other people than spending it with you, that's a red flag. Now, consider it this way. In the beginning of your relationship, you guys were triggering each other's happy hormones. They always wanted to spend time with you because you made them feel good about themselves and they made you feel good about yourself. And then we go through life and then stuff happens. And then next thing you know, you find yourself both doing your own things. Why? Because you're no longer that source of happy hormone. If you're not that source of happy hormone, they don't need to be with you. They don't need to be close to you. You want to be looking for ways that you can now be that source of happy hormone again. If they're looking for that happy hormone by spending more time with other people, that means that you are no longer the source, someone else is, or they're looking for another source. Something's got to shift. That's a big red flag. All right, number 2, lack of intimacy. As you know, I'll say it, the boom chicka bam bam. This is important. We need to do that thing. We need to have sex, right? And what does sex do? It gives us dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. It gives us all those, that rush of happy hormones. We call it the superfecta, if you will, of happy hormones that we feel when we feel in love. Okay, and so when you're having sex, that's what you get. Now, when you take the sex away, automatically there's a dose deficiency, most likely. Some couples don't have sex because they are physically limited. In those cases, they have to supplement dose in different areas of their relationship. We know this because sometimes in the past, you found yourself in really bad relationships. Everybody's done it. I know I'm not the only one who's been with someone. The relationship was toxic. It really stank, but the sex was good. And we stayed just a little bit too long because we were triggering those happy hormones. We had that dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins flowing. And so even though we know we weren't supposed to be there, we still got pulled that way because they were our source of happy hormone. So when you lose that in a relationship, now you're losing a big source of that happy hormone that we need to feel inside of the relationship. Fight for it. Fight for the sex. Fight for the love. If you don't have that, that's a big one. As we like to say, it's about a daily bond, not a sometimes bond. So the more that you're spending time having sex or being able to engage in activities that are going to create that happy hormone, then you know that that's going to have your relationship work more and more. All right, number 3, arguments. So let's say that you are talking to them and you're like, pass the salt. Pass your own salt. If you get that back, guess what? You've got a toxic relationship, right? Don't tell me what to do. Get your own salt. Yeah, why are they saying that? Well, it doesn't make sense. It's a disproportionate response. Well, that happens. That means you have toxicity in your relationship. That means you say anything and they blow up. It's important to know that right there, right away, that there's something there that's not working in the relationship and that there has been pent up or built up cortisol, stress, and toxicity, and will continue to do so unless you do something about it. You can absolutely begin to alleviate the stress, alleviate the cortisol. You now want to direct your attention toward that so you can shift it. But that is a huge red flag of a relationship. When they're not with you, most likely they're triggering stress hormone, there's triggering cortisol, and we know what we do with cortisol. We actually move away from whatever triggers cortisol. So if they feel that about you for any small thing, for any small reason, it's probably that feeling's already there. Red flag number 4, they stop coming to you and opening up to you. All right, so now they're going through something, or they start shutting down, or they don't want to share with you anymore. That means that you are no longer their source of alleviating cortisol. So if you have not been known to be, and they no longer have that connection with you where they know that you're their source of alleviating that stress, they're not going to open up to you anymore. Or they've come to a conclusion that you are not going to, that opening up to you is not going to make the difference. It's not going to fix the relationship. Then guess what happens? Your relationship is now in jeopardy. That means that there's most likely a happy hormone deficiency and definitely some toxicity in your relationship. You are no longer their source of alleviating stress. They will find someone else or something else to alleviate that stress. Okay, so the solution is detoxing the relationship and then dosing it. We call it detox dose. So what do I mean by detoxing? Well, when a relationship's not healthy, you've got to take out everything that is causing the stress of the relationship. And so now we want to give 90% of our attention to detoxifying the relationship, then 10% to dosing the relationship. So when you're in a relationship like mine, though, that's strong and that's healthy, 90% of the time I'm going to be dosing the relationship, and then 10% is the regular maintenance of taking out whatever small things show up. 10% is detoxing the relationship. So you need to do some form of maintenance all the time to alleviate the cortisol or the stress. And so you may want to ask yourself the question, where is it that I haven't been listening? Where is it that I may have been causing that stress, or where my partner is dealing with something that I can now alleviate, I can take it out? So if you have any of this going on, you first want to start with detox and ask yourself, what could be in the space of our relationship that is creating that long-term toxicity, and that's where you want to spend your time and where you want to go to work. If you want to learn how to actually keep the chemistry going in your relationship, how to trigger that dose, trigger that connection, trigger that love, trigger that desire to forgive the past, then go to my website. I'll link it to you below for you here. See you on the other side.